Here's today's goodies. See what this first one is. New package. So this one may not be as vintage as some of the other ones. It's the new logo that they changed to in 2019, so it's since then. Oh, sticker here must be on the other side. There we go. There's a Skeletool CX in a color that I did not have previously. A little bit funky, not any rust or anything, but fingerprints, and it's definitely been handled. I do not recall if it was advertised as new or not. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, we'll definitely give this one a clean in the ultrasonic cleaner. Got a little bit of wear right there, so it's been opened and closed a few times, but even a new one, if the box is open, you can expect it's been opened and closed a few times. Let's see what the bit looks like. I don't see any wear on it at all. Move this out of the way. No scratches along the back. Color looks really good. No chips anywhere. I think this is a current color, so it's might be fairly new. We can find out right now, actually. 03 of 24. I don't think the camera will pick that up, but maybe. Yeah, a little bit right there. 03 of 24. So it is right now 12 of 25. So it was made a year and a half ago or a little bit longer. So pretty new. No funkiness in here where you often get a bunch of gnarly stuff. The action's pretty good. No need to put in the oil and get rust out of there like we have to do sometimes. This bit looks like it's brand new as well. Alright, so a new Skeletool CX. I'll pop that one back. Set it aside, and all right, there's the sticker, Skeletool CX, but also Patrick. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate it. I don't know that it was actually Patrick that sold this to me, but it was certainly meant for him at some point. All right, what next? Let's go with this little dude. I think this is multiples. Got a few at one time. I always appreciate when they're packaged nice like this. And yeah, you can just rip into it, but alright, we got a classic Micra. It's one of the anodized ones, not painted. It's got the aluminum anodized outer shell, which makes it a little bit thicker than the bare stainless steel ones or the ones that have been Cerakote or painted. Seems to be in good condition. Good enough for me anyway. I'm not a super picky collector, but I like it to not look super worn. But yeah, little scratches here and there. As long as it's a good representative of that particular tool and that particular variety, I'm okay with it. And it looks like this one is. A little bit of funkiness. Leatherman tool. Let's see what the data is on it. Check the tools as we're doing that. Looks like there's been a little use. No bent driver tip like you certainly find sometimes. Definitely a used knife, but looks like it's got the factory edge on it, which, I don't know, I had never found Micra's edges to be particularly awesome initially. And the date, 01 of 08, so January 2008. There are a couple little spots of rust in here. We'll see if the camera will pick it up. Right there. There's some over here as well. A little bit of funkiness in there, as one may expect when they get a tool that's used. Kind of stiff opening there. The tweezers aren't all bent and gnarly, which certainly happens a lot of the times. And that's from people using it. It's a tool. You use your tools. But I think a lot of times people squeeze their tweezers together so that it's less effort, more effective. I don't know, but this one's not super out of whack. There is some gnarly dust in there. Ooh, yeah, it's pretty furry in there. This is my first video, so I'm not sure how well things are set up to really show you. We'll tweak it here and there if we need to. Yeah, the tweezers, scissors work well. There's no stickiness. There's no burrs on the edge of them. Yeah, stoked with this one. That'll work. All right, what else? I think I know what this is. Yep. This is one of the free series, of which are pretty much all going out the door at this point. The free P4 and free P2 are both retired. And I believe the T4, no, I think the colors of the T4 are retired, but that the stainless version is still available. This one is the T2, which I really like the T4. It's one of my favorite tools, to be honest, and I'm pretty stoked. I've got most of those varieties covered. The T2, this one, only came in stainless steel. There is no colors for it. It's got the blade, which has been used in this case. There's a lot of scuffing on it, but it's got a nice factory edge on it, I believe, still. So the blade's good. Little teeny bit of something there. Maybe rust, may just be someone's funk. Clicks into place nice. Oh, did not come with the pocket clip, which I am perfectly okay with. I do not like pocket clips. They change the feel of the tool in your hand a lot, and I like to fidget with my tool. So yeah, this one looks good. I'll dunk it in the ultrasonic cleaner, but I don't believe it'll need any kind of de-rusting. Now, one thing that I like about the T2, I don't have my other stainless steel one handy right now, but there's a really cool mod made out there, and I'll put a link to the guy's Etsy store when I post this, because I don't know what his name is now, but it's it's basically, it replaces all of this plastic stuff with high quality 3D printed nylon. That looks pretty cool. It's kind of stone wash and textured. But the whole point of it is, it will take Victorinox tools. It has a space for the pen and the tweezers and the toothpick. And so it doesn't take away anything else from it. It just adds to it, and it's pretty useful. So I'll show that to you in another video here. But all right, I'm good with that one too. That's cool. This one is something I'm a sucker for, thanks to my girlfriend. She is obsessed with pink. And so it's kind of a thing where anytime I see a pink Leatherman tool, if it's in decent shape, I have to grab it. So, yeah, this one's in really good shape. I like it. This is, of course, a Leatherman style. And it's in this fuchsia color that is really cool. A lot of times on the styles, you get wear on the edges of the aluminum here. And none of that. So this one is great. Open it up. Nice and springy. Still got the factory edge. No nicks or anything. Little bit of funkiness inside. I don't think it's anything that is rust and going to need to actually use a rust remover, which is nice. Now, one thing that you have to be careful about when cleaning styles, both CS and this, and squirts, basically any of them that have this little jut out right here as the spring for the main tool. You'll see if we open this, that bends up. That's what puts the pressure on it. And if you were to put this in an ultrasonic cleaner while it's partially open and it's got pressure on this, you put it in there for a bit and you're going to crack that right there, and that's going to break off, and then you're going to have a tool with a floppy blade, and nobody wants a floppy tool. So, pro tip. Let's see what else. Scissors are good. No broken spring, which is certainly common to find on the squirts and other keychain tools. It's actually really got some spring to it. They don't always. So that's cool. And of course, file and flathead / Phillips. There's no rust in the little nicks or anything. Really no funkiness in there at all. Let's see if we can read the date. I'm definitely not going to be able to show this one to you. 12 of 10. So this one is 15 years old, same month. Great. Well, I'll have to see. I don't recall. I know I have one of these that she has and carries. I don't recall what shape it's in, so maybe this will be the new one for her. All right, that's those three. We'll open this one here. This is really light. Oh yeah, I remember what this is. This is not an actual Leatherman. This is Leatherman paraphernalia. My guess is that this is not an awesome ASMR sound that would drive me nuts. I certainly wouldn't watch a video with a whole lot of that going on. It's a whole lot of padding for what I know is inside here. It's very small. It might be fragile though. I don't have one of these, so maybe it needs all this padding. I'm not sure. And forgive me if I'm not keeping everything in the right place for the camera. Again, this is my first video, so I'll only get better. Or it'll be so bad that there will not be a second video. So let's tune in next week. Oh, that's got some pretty detailed details on it. This is, of course, a Leatherman pin. I have zero idea of the origin of this or the year or any story behind it, so if you know about it, let me know. I believe I've seen some where these are kind of bent. They look like they're almost rubber or something. They're so bent, and this one is not that way, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Yeah, very cool. It's not something I've had and something I've been a bit envious of when I've seen other people with theirs. So excited to have that one. Oh, okay. Let's do this big one here. Double wrapped, which is appreciated. I believe this is one of the more expensive tools, not a ultra rare one or anything like that, but more expensive than any of those, I believe. Maybe not. Well, it is value-wise today anyway. It's worth more than those other ones. This is a Juice KF4. Got some scratches and scuffs here and there. And I can never remember the name of it, the KF4. I've got one or two other ones. And when I put them on my tracking, I always call them KFC, because that's what I recall. It's got some space in the middle there. Curious to see if that's a real issue or if somebody just didn't close things all the way. Oh, they closed it. They closed the plier half and then put the tools up and then closed the thing. So instead of the plier being on the outside of the tools, it's on the inside. Maybe there's a reason for that. There is definitely some funky rust in there. So yeah, there's definitely rust in a lot of different places here. The joints are fairly gnarly, especially down here. Let's see if we can catch that. Some funk in there for sure. So yeah, this one will need cleaning and likely a rust bath. A bath in what I use is Evaporust. So we'll need one of those. Yeah, that is seized up. So they did that on purpose. I could pull it open, I'm sure, with a tool, but I'm not sure I want to do that right now. So we'll look at it a little deeper. It's pretty rusty in there. And I'll do an after video of these derust ones. I can't do a live video or anything like that because I usually let them soak for 24 hours, and that would be a really long video. So I'll either make a post with pictures of after and before, or do an actual video of it. There is some funkiness. These looks like the file is fairly gross as well. We'll save that for last then. See, and this is the perfect kind of tool for me. As long as the seized tools are fixable with some care, with cleaning and de-rust and stuff like that, which I am about 90% sure they are, just looking at it real quick. And this is still the factory edge. And it is no nicks, sharp, barely any scuffs. This blade could be brand new if you looked at it. So I am all about these kind of tools that are funky enough that other people might pass them by, but they can be made awesome with a little bit of love and care. So I'm stoked with this one so far. Of course, we haven't seen all the tools yet. It's definitely a file that's been used. That'll be exciting to see in the ultrasonic cleaner. And that may be the next video, is I'll take some of my gnarlier tools and put them in an ultrasonic cleaner. And we'll see how that comes out on camera, if you can see the funk floating off of it. Okay, a serrated blade. Serrations are mostly intact. There's a couple that show some use on them for sure, which if you've got the ability to sharpen serrations, then probably not a big deal. Looks like there is a little bend on the very tip there. Just a very tip. Probably tried to use it as a pry tool, which we've all done at some point. A little bit of rust down there, which is less than the rest of it, really. Ooh, that is really stiff. Typical funkiness. A little bit of rust there, and it's in such concentrated spots that it's possible there may be some pitting after I get rid of that rust. We'll have to see, because that's where grabbing something that you think you can fix and get rid of the rust can backfire. Is it might be too permanent. It might have black pits in it, or you really don't want to get black oxide tools that also have rust on them, at least in my experience, because you're going to take some of that black oxide off if you try and take that other rust off. Black oxide is rust. It's just a different kind of rust. Yeah, there's some furry grossness in there. Sweet. Not as bad as I've ever seen, for sure. Oh, there's why it was so rough opening, because there's quite a bit of rust in that joint. So a normal tool, and again, this is for a collection. I collect these, so generally I wouldn't be warrantying them, but a normal tool, if it had that bad of rust in a joint, I may take it apart before I clean it. And of course, when you do that, the warranty is invalid. So do that with care, and only if you plan on never, ever, ever seeking help with that tool from Leatherman again. Well, I was able to close it all the way, which may make things even more difficult to get them back out, those tools that are seized in there. All right, well, the ruler on the outside, there's nothing scratched up enough to where you can't use it. And I believe, if I recall, this is the only Leatherman model that has a printed ruler on it. Some of them, of course, it's formed in the metal, but This is the only one, if I recall, that has a printed ruler on it. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm sure you will. All right. 2 more, and I think I recall what that one is. I'm not sure about this one. Maybe I've got them confused. We'll find out. You'll be surprised along with me. Okay. It's got some weight to it, which I'm trying to remember for the life of me. I know I had 2 decently rare tools in here, and I can only remember what one of them is, and I think it's that one. This one's in a sheath, which is nice, always good. All right. So the sheath looks unused and new. There's a little bit of funk on it, but this doesn't look like it's ever had a belt go through it. And there's no wear, no clear wear, although these kinds of sheaths always have that funky melt spot that makes them look not great. Oh, this is, I saw a peek from the side there. Let's see if you can guess what it is, if you can see inside. Oh, I don't think the light's going to cooperate. Oh, maybe. There you go. Can you guess? This is a Skeletool CX Topo, or Topo. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Topo Designs. So, this one, I was aware of the condition of it, and I'm not a huge box guy. I know when you get a tool that's limited like this, that you want to have the box and the sheath that came with it. I'm not really that guy. I'll take it. I'll certainly take it. But if I can get something that's a better deal that doesn't have those, then yeah, obviously I will get it. So this is in pretty good shape. There's certainly some paint nicks here and there. Look at the outside first. There's a little bit of wear. Get the camera to focus. A little bit of wear there on the edge. So it's been used, and again, they're tools. Tools get used, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, for some people, it might add to the collection. You know, you hold the tool in your hand and you wonder all the things that it's done, all the situations that it's gotten people out of, and all the things that it's created and fixed. So wear is nothing to be afraid of, unless it makes it so the tool doesn't work anymore. Then it's maybe something to keep an eye out for. All right, let's see. I imagine this was only, I don't know a ton about this version of this model, but I imagine that this was a limited one that was only available in 1 year at least. It's September of 21. See if we can pick that up. Yeah. And you can see again where that's got a normal amount of wear. See, now one thing, I appreciate that they made this little hole in the Skeletools for the backup, but I appreciate more the tools that come with one single bit that is both Phillips and flathead. Phillips on one side and flathead on the other. I guess maybe I don't use my tools often enough to where the little bit of size difference in these two Phillips heads is going to make much of a difference in the things that I do. So I would rather have the one that is both Phillips and flathead and not have to take up additional space. So not have to swap things out to be able to do a flathead Although you'd still have to pull it out if you had it on Phillips, so whatever. The movement's good. It looks like there might be a red hint, so maybe a little bit of red rust coming in places here. The jaws there look like they're certainly need some cleaning. Surprisingly little wear on the actual black oxide though, so it's been used but not abused by any means from what I see. Nothing on the inside there, just a little bit of paint flake. And I've got one of these already. It's in a little bit worse condition than this, which is why I decided to pick this one up. But that one did come with the box and the sheath, the multicolored sheath. Let's move these out of the way because I think they might be impacting the focus. So there was some red paint flecks down in here. A little bit of flecking there. A little bit of wear there, where again, just opening and closing it will do that. So yeah, this is in good shape and just a slightly better shape than my other one. So I will probably sell that other one. Again, as I mentioned, boxes and sheaths, other than maybe having one of each sheath when they're actual Leatherman sheaths and not aftermarket and stuff. They don't do much for me otherwise, so I may sell that other one along with the box and sheath. All right, let's see what the blade looks like. Looks like that's on the surface, whatever that is, that it can be wiped off. Well, I already did. All right, well, welcome to YouTube, I guess. Welcome to filming. The camera overheated. So we're in 4K right now, and apparently that causes a whole lot of heat. So it's possible my future videos will be in 1080p instead of 4K. We shall see. Or maybe I'll just shoot and sort in short bursts and stitch stuff together. We'll see. Anyway, that's not what you're here for. So the blade looks super factory sharp and crisp and clean. A little bit of paint residue maybe in the corners. Yeah, so we'll finish this one up before we totally lose it again. And I have no idea what this last one is because I thought it was the Topo one. So we will find out. I should be careful because it's possible this box is a factory box. And while I'm not a huge collecting nerd as far as keeping boxes and keeping them nice and clean, if they are clean, then yeah, I'd like to keep it that way. So I'm not about ruining things for other people that might have them in the future. All right, never mind. It's a box, but not a Leatherman box. I do appreciate the extra rigidity in whatever this is. Man, for the life of me, I cannot recall. I guess when you have 5 or 6 things out at once, it's easy to forget what they all are. And it's more paper stuff. Some fuzziness sticking out there. Oh, I recall now. I know what this is. And we saved one of the funkier for last, I believe. A lot of paper. All right, you guys know what this is? I believe it says it on the blade. We'll see here in a second. is Leatherman Selway. It is one of their hunting knives. I believe they're all called hunting knives. It's got a gut hook. Nice and rusty one. And, oh, yeah, that's going to need some TLC. Yeah, so this has been used a lot and loved, and man, look at that rust. Definitely some pitting going on there, but that's the way that I collect anyway. If one has the means to, you can do it this way, is if I don't have a model yet, then even a funky version of it will do. And then if I happen upon a better version, a considerably better one in the future, that's also a deal that's worth it. Then I'll grab that and sell this one, only a much cleaned up and oiled and more presentable version of this one. So yeah, this is absolutely going to need a rust bath, which again, it's stainless steel. It is not black oxide, so no worries there. I've got one other of the hunting knives, Calamath or Klamath. I can't remember how it's pronounced and spelled. And that one's in awesome condition, and so much so that if you press the release, it comes down of its own volition. And there's no no danger in this one doing that. This is very, very sticky and rusty in there. This might have sat in somebody's backyard for a long time or something. But I believe there's 4, maybe 5 of these different hunting tools. And yeah, so this makes 2 that I have. The only other one I have is that one I mentioned. The gut hook has absolutely been used on this one, so that's going to take a little bit to get sharpened. I am not a sharpening connoisseur. I know very little about it, and that will change eventually. So that may be a bit daunting. If you're good at sharpening, let me know. How should I start out? I don't have a lot of room in my at my bench here, so I can't have one of those big awesome machines that has the angle perfectly dialed in. I've seen a little bit about how they work, but definitely not anything that I've looked too into so far. A lot of rust on this one. There's something about buying funky ones that it's nice to bring something back to usability, basically. Not that this one couldn't be used, but you certainly wouldn't want to open it with one hand. And this is not at all a factory finish. Looks pretty dull. Really scratched up there. Rust in every little nook and cranny. So this one will definitely get an ultrasonic bath, and maybe I'll take it apart again. It voids warranties, but what's Leatherman gonna do? They're not gonna replace this one. I mean, they're not gonna fix this one and replace it with a new Selway. They don't exist. So that's a risk that you take. You figure out, can I take it apart and make it a little bit nicer when I clean it, or do I keep it warranty covered? And who knows what happens in the future. But again, I don't think there's much they would be able to do for this. They can replace it, but what are they going to replace it with? A K4 maybe? That's the only big blade that they have going, and it's not as big as these for sure. And the K4, I believe, is retired. Maybe not. I can't remember. All the free ones are on their way out, so I can't remember which are already out and which are just on their way. Man, that is so super rusty. That has been put away wet often enough, for sure. All right, well, let me ask you guys. I've been filming in 4K. This is my first video, and supposedly if I film in 1080p instead, I'll get a lot more time, a lot less risk of overheating. But then it's 1080p and not 4K. So tell me, what's important to you? Is this quality in 4K that much better to where you want it to stay in 4K? Or are you watching this on a little phone anyway, and you're not even going to tell the difference between 4K and 1080p? Let me know. But I think we're done here before the camera overheats again. This is my Franken arc that I've done a lot of tinkering with. And we'll learn about this more later. But this is my user. One of my users. I do switch out my daily carries. Got a beard comb on it instead of what? Saw, maybe? Yeah. Anyway, I will say goodbye before the camera overheats again. So if you're watching this, whenever you're watching this, thank you for viewing my first video, and maybe there will be more, or maybe this will be lost in the annals of time.